motherhood pledges to seek our original homeland and build the kingdom of God on earth and in heaven. The original ideal of creation by centering on true love. The second reading comes from the Chongsung Young Book, Book 16, Chapter 2. What are the first words of the family pledge? It starts out, our family, by centering on true love. True love means to act in true love. Only to the fall, those without true love cannot establish families. You must understand this. Originally, those who do not have true love cannot have families in front of God. The fall signifies the corruption of true love. Then what is true love? It is a love that has a relationship only with God. You have yourselves, your nations, the habits of the secular world, and the customs and traditions of a nation's people. However, true love does not have anything to do with them. It is a love that creates relationships only with God. The original garden is the ideal garden. It is a world where everyone ministers to each other's needs. A world where a feeling of brotherhood and sisterhood penetrates all parts of the universe. It is not a world of ideals or ideologies like today, where people discuss the differences between the feelings held by peoples or the difference between the sovereignties of nations. It is not a world where the difference between people based on economic circumstances or cultures are discussed. It is a world where discussions reach beyond the distinction between peoples or nation sovereignties. It is a world where people discuss matters of the heart. What is surprising about the principles of the Unification Church? Until now, people have not known the theoretical basis of how the kingdom of God on earth and the kingdom of God in heaven can become one. This would have begun with Adam and Eve, centering on true love. God represents the inner nature of Adam, and Adam represents the outer nature of God. They are to become one. That is why God's love started together with Adam, one with a vertical beginning and the other with a horizontal beginning. Logically speaking, this is perfectly correct.
We receive that every morning. and as something we all agree upon. And these are kind of, today we read family pledge number 1. We have 8 of them. And this, we pledge that God, in front of God, that we all of us are agree upon this, and we are striving to achieve that. And last several weeks, we were talking about blessing and restoration through blessing. And the people who went through that blessing process, people who received blessing of God and true parents, come every morning as family, as husband and wife together, and with children, they pledge in front of God that, God, we are going to seek for this, we are going to establish this. There are several points you would be able to understand when you receive that. And even though sometimes these pledges are kind of really short and small, it encapsulates a lot of meaning into that. It is kind of very, very deep meaning it carries. And that's why I want to talk about this. I want to say that before I start, even though I'm trying to say that about family pledge number 1, I'm not able to convey everything within that family pledge, because it's so huge. It carries a lot of meanings. We would have to do sermons, maybe 10, 15 sermons for us to fully understand. But what I'm trying to do today is to convey the main meanings of this family pledge number 1. And I want to start off with the family pledge number 1. And it's already in scriptural reading, you already heard that. It says, our family, the honor of eternal good, but just to seek our original homeland and build the kingdom of God on earth, and in heaven, the original ideal of creation by centering on true love. Actually, every family pledge, all 8 pledges start by saying, our family, the honor of eternal good, and we end with by centering on true love. And in today's reading, you heard what does that mean by saying centering on true love. The meaning of the centering on true love is that centered on the absolute principles of God, not centered on our perspective, not centered on our ideas. Sometimes we all come from different cultural background, different ethnic background, different languages, and a lot of different standards we have. But when we say we are by centering on true love, means it doesn't center on ourselves. It doesn't have anything to do with my standard. It doesn't have anything to do with whether I am Indian or whether I am American or whether I am Japanese or Korean. No matter who I am, which culture I am representing, but we all agree upon certain universal principles which God give to us. On those principles we are centered on. Those principles, that is what we mean by true love. It is not for the sake of just for myself. It is for the sake of the all. It is for the sake of everyone. That is what it means. And also I want to talk a little bit about what does it mean by eternal good. That's probably for new guests. The term eternal good can be a totally new term. The meaning of eternal good is actually very, very simple. Sometimes our founder said the meaning of eternal good means when two comes together. It could be husband and wife, it could be a friend and two friends, or it could be even anyone, even it says positivity, negativity, everything. Some two come together, that means the eternal good. How can it be? And actually in Bible it says, in Matthew 18:20, it says, for where two together in my name, I'm there. I'm there with them. I felt that is what tonal group means. When God is there, when we join together, when two of us join together centered on God, when God is there, God is automatically there. When we lay divine principle, we say, God manifested as man and woman. When we join together, God is there. That's what God being created there again. And that's why, that is what I mean by tonal group. We join together centered on God. I'm not going on a lot of details in that, but I want to focus on what we are pledging. As the honor of tonal group, our family, what are we pledging? We pledge to seek our original homeland and build the kingdom of God on earth and in heaven, which is the original ideal of creation. And when we learn divine principle from the very beginning, we know the original garden, the original right after God created Adam and Eve, God was envisioning a perfect living condition, perfect living standard there, and which is Adam and Eve connected to God. Adam and Eve listened to God, and also they listened to each other. And that is actually a simplest form of the very, very fundamental form of Garden of Eden, or the fundamental form of the kingdom of God. That was the original ideal. And here, as people who join with God, people who went through the restorational process by receiving the blessing of God, by receiving the blessing of the Messiah, we every day, every morning, we come together with our spouse, maybe with our children, we recite, our family, the honor of tonal group, we pledge to you, God, we pledge to you every day. We seek the original ideal of creation, original formula. We are seeking for that every day in our life. This is not something we seek only in a political level. Sometimes we engage in political activities. We engage in big mobilization. We engage in many political campaigns, or no matter whatever, many things we engage. But some days we don't engage with any big things. But here what we are saying, we two people come here together as husband and wife. Maybe as siblings we come here together. We pledge. God, we pledge to you. We are seeking, today, we are seeking to establish the kingdom of God on earth and in heaven. That is the original homeland we are seeking in our life. And that cannot come without our relationship with God. The primary thing is we are honoring God. Today's the songs you heard when Harika was singing. Harika was singing that, be my guide. And we are acknowledging God. God, you are our guide today. Today, you are my guide. And we are again requesting to God, be my guide for today. And every morning we are coming. We are coming in front of God. We are coming in front of God and two parents. Together with our family, we are saying to God, first of all, we are acknowledging God. God, you are our guide. We are committed in front of you. We are acknowledging you as our guide. Talk to us. Guide us in everything we do. Tell us what to do so that we can do that rightfully. We can do that properly. We can live our life properly. And based on that relationship we have with God, we are asking again to God, God, guide me in my relationship with my husband. And guide me in my relationship with my wife. Guide me in my relationship with my co-worker. And that is why in family pledge number 1, one of the main aspects we are saying, acknowledging God, we are asking, we are really committing in front of God. Today, we are seeking this original homeland where we all of us acknowledging you, God, as our guide. We all acknowledging you as our leader, as our king, and then trying to become really one with other person. Trying to be one body with my spouse, and again become one body, maybe as a church community. Then even beyond that, trying to become one body centered on God. Centered on a person, centered on God who is guiding us every moment. And that happens only when we acknowledge God. We truly, in full sense, we receive God in our heart. Otherwise, it cannot happen. It is not something we just chant every day. Or even if we chant that even 100 times a day, it doesn't make any sense if I don't have that attitude of receiving God wholeheartedly in my life. And sometimes we worry what other person doing. Here, I have a passage from Bible. It says, it is Matthew 5:43 to 45. It says, you have heard that it was said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. And you may be children of your Father in heaven. He caused his sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. It is saying that in the olden days, it said, love your neighbor, or love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But Jesus was telling, love your enemies and pray for them. It doesn't matter what other person do. The commandment is for me. Many times in our life, we focus and we know the commandment. We know exactly, we understand the commandment very, very well. We understand fully well. But we are concerned about other people following commandment. We are concerned about whether my spouse is following the commandment. We are concerned about whether my friend is following the commandment or not. We don't concern about I am following the commandment. How much I do that, how much I practice that in my life. Here Jesus saying the example of God. How does God does? Does God in a town, maybe one person is really bad and another person is really good. And maybe one whole family is bad and one family is good. Neighbor is good. It is saying that when God allowed the sun to rise up only for the good people? Or does God do that for bad people too? God doesn't do anything separately. Whenever God does something, it is equal for good people and bad people. And sometimes we have in Christianity, in many churches, people say, there is a big gospel saying that prosperity gospel. People say, if you do good, you will be blessed by God. And here in Jesus directly telling that God doesn't do anything like that. God said, whatever God is given for good people and bad people, for everyone, it is same thing God is doing. And again it says that God sends His rain for the righteous and the unrighteous. What is Jesus trying to say that? When you do good things, don't concern about other people, what they are going to do. Don't worry about another person doing what, good or bad. You just worry about what you are supposed to do. Then you become the son of God. You become the children of your God. By doing that, that is the only way. And in order to do that, we really have to cling onto that relationship with God. Yesterday and day before, I was actually watching a lot of frisbee. And you know frisbee, and like many sports, it has something central to everyone, which is that frisbee does that call frisbee? Actually, frisbee is a kind of very new game for me. When I came to this country, I saw people throwing this thing. Then I thought, oh, what's that? Why they are playing a plate? I thought it's... Then I thought maybe they are... Sometimes in our culture, we throwing this, we have a... what is that called? That circle thing we have sometimes... I forget the name. That's not a big sport, but for children sometimes pass this one round circular thing. Anyway, I was watching frisbee yesterday and day before, and that is one of the most important game in our BCSL. And sometimes I notice these children who are playing there, they have to be really athletic. And they have to be really well tuned, and they have to be working together with all of their teammates. And the most important thing I was noticing that they have to know where is this frisbee is in the whole field. If they don't know where is that, no matter how fast they are able to run, no matter how high they are able to jump, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. One person is running very fast within the court. I was telling Rani by watching sometimes some kids from the one side they are running so fast that the other person who is holding frisbee, he wants to pass to that person, but cannot pass because he is not looking towards anything. He is running so fast. And sometimes that can happen to us. When in our life, we are running every day. Our life is going on and on very fast. And sometimes, but we lose our connection with God. Every day, we recite that pledge, saying that, God, I'm seeking this original homeland. But we can't reach to that original homeland if we lose our connection with God. And by saying that, once we know that where is the frisbee is going to be, then we make relationship with the other people. Where are other people in my team positioned? Once we have the two things, we can easily win games. And I'm not saying every game you will be able to win in a frisbee match if you know where is the frisbee. But in our life, if we try to keep tuned to God, if we not know where is God in our life and how I can manifest that God's relationship with able to run a proper game in our life. And that is the most important thing in our life. But sometimes when we are so busy, we think, oh, that's okay, one day is okay. And when everyone think that way, we cannot have that. Our whole world become, our community won't be a good community. Sometimes in our school, everyone do little by little bad things, then it suddenly becomes a bad school. And I remember reading a very old story about a river, and that river was in a country, the middle of the capital of that country. That city had a big problem of not having drinking water. But this city had the big river full of water flowing in that river. But they don't have drinking water. And the reason, do you know the reason why they don't have no drinking water? And one person throw away a piece of rotten meat into the huge river. One person throw away, one day he noticed, one mother noticed, this meat is not good. Why do I keep? Let me put it into that river. She throw away into that river. Then you wonder why did that one piece of rotten meat, the whole that river become really bad water? It wasn't because of just one. Another person also threw away a piece of bread which was really bad, molded bread. They put into that river. They thought, I'm just putting a piece of molded bread. I don't want to keep it in my home. If I keep it in my home, maybe other things also get molded. So let me throw away. And I'm putting into this river. That will flow away take away into maybe the ocean very quickly. So I don't need to keep that in my home. Let me throw away. That second person, she threw away really bad molded. You understand? This sometimes bread becomes really black and very bad. It is better not keep that in your home. And another person threw away this piece of bad bread. Then the whole river is so bad, no one can even go and drink a drop of water. The reality was, there was a third person doing that. And it wasn't just a third person. Everyone was doing that same thing. They thought only they are doing that. Or they weren't thinking properly. They weren't thinking very seriously. Everyone did a little bit bad thing. One person thought it's just a piece of bad meat. Another person thought it's just a piece of bad bread. Let me throw into this. And sometimes we talk about this kingdom of heaven. We talk about the original garden where there is no sin, where there is no problem. Everyone, as we heard from scripture, the reading of scriptures, you heard that. We all are concerned about other person's heart, how much we care for each other. Then sometimes we think, anyway, one little thing, I don't need to be cared about. There are hundreds of people in our community. They will take care of that. But what happens many times, we all of us think same way. We all of us think, another person will take care of that. Or when we do something bad condition, when we tell something bad about one person, we think, nobody else do that. I'm just doing it one time. That's okay. But what happens? No one even notices notice that no one really think about that, then everyone do that. And then what happens finally? The whole world, the whole community become like that bad river which was supposed to be flowing like a good drinking water and helping everyone to have good water, fetching good water from that river and drink. But this become like a useless river and which is carrying poison for everyone. No one can even use that. And we can become that way if we don't take things seriously. And I really want to, when I read this pledge, I feel, and we are saying to God, God, I am promising to you, I am seeking for your kingdom. I am seeking to establish your kingdom in our life, in our society, in our family. And we want to have this whole world as your kingdom. Then instead of becoming an original place, an original homeland where God is leading all of us, our countries and our world, our families become families which no one want to be proud of, no one want to be part of that. And we really need to be careful about that. And again, I want to say with this another passage. There is actually no shortcuts towards the kingdom of heaven. There is no shortcut. It cannot come automatically. Each and every one of us intentionally want to create, intentionally try to create that kingdom of heaven. Then only it can come. It's in John 14:15 it says, if you love me, you will keep my commandments. You will remember my commandments. And that is the only way we can create an ideal community. Sometimes we say, forget about everything, forget about commandments, forget about rules and regulations. Of course, sometimes we don't need to forget about, we don't need to remember. It is like when you start driving a car, you remember everything, all rules and regulations, but after some time it becomes a part of our life. That time you don't need to really think about everything, but it has to become a part of our life. And that way we have to practice here. God is asking us through Jesus, saying that if you love me, here in our daily pledge also we say, centered on love. And God says, if you love me, practice my commandments, practice the principles I have given to you. Learn principles in every day in our life and practice that in our personal life. And that is the only way where we can establish good families, good communities, good schools. Like sometimes as children, I remember always in schools where a big excuse we do is when we do bad, like fighting with other people, or whenever we do something bad condition, we always make excuse that other person is doing. There are many people doing that. Then why you are? I remember watching one video last week, a video taken in New York City. One person was accusing police of not arresting everyone, but he got arrested because he violated one traffic rule. Then he made a video saying that how bad police is not arresting other people, but just him. But he doesn't need to worry about police arresting other people. He just needs to follow his traffic law while he is driving. Then everyone do that. Then traffic becomes really good traffic. It's not for other people. It's for ourselves. When we drive our car by looking that, how much other people are following traffic law, it have to practice them in our life while we drive our life. And that is what God has given us these principles also. It's not for other people, it's for us. And before we enforce that for other people, before we remind other people of practicing everything in their life, let us practice that in our life so that we can really create that kingdom of heaven in our life. So that we are really, in a true sense, we are seeking that original homeland in our life. Without that, that original homeland can never come in our life, or in our family's life, or in any community, regardless of Unification Church community or other church community, or even in any state or any country in whole world, it cannot come. When each and every one of us focus on practicing those principles, kingdom of heaven is right here. That original homeland is right here. And everything will become, as we say, in the pledge number 1, the original ideal of creation will happen automatically when we focus on our internal relationship and we manifest that in our relationship with another person. And this week, I really want you to focus this what pledge number 1 is trying to convey us. And thank you so much for coming on this wonderful day. May God bless you. Thank you.